Hello everyone, Josh first back again, bringing you guys some more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, and you asked and you shall receive. By popular demand, we're going to start doing gear builds on all the characters in Global, starting with the Fox Sin of Greed Adventurer Bond that we just got, yesterday, aka Coin Shop Bond, as he was once known. So a lot of you have been asking this question every single day since I started playing this game, even back on the JP side. You said, Josh, how can I gear this and this and this character up? What's the best gear options, etc., etc.? So I'm here to finally bring you the series, which hopefully will answer a lot of those questions and maybe even give you guys some new ones. Who knows? So stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's dive right into it. So you'll know that our boy Bond has a lifesteal 30% on his skill 1. After you go to rank 2 or higher, 30%. So that means whatever kind of damage he's going to be doing with his rank 2 or higher, he'll be receiving about 30% of that back as a self-heal. So he's self-efficient, and of course with his skill 2, he can bulk himself up by using Snatch, which can extort 20%, 30, or even 50. And if you're playing against 3 enemies, that's a maximum of 150% additional attack and defense that you can extort, which is absolutely ridiculous because remember, you're extorting this from all the individual enemies, not just one, but all of them. The only one that he has that is a single snatch, of course, would be his ultimate, which is also 50% and for attack and defense for 2 turns. And this is also for 2 turns, and that's for 3. So that's the big one. If you can get that one off and it doesn't get cleansed away, then you're in business. So, and we're not going to really talk about his passive because it really doesn't matter for the actual gear build. Plus, it's very unreliable anyways. So let's go into the gear. So you're going to notice right off the bat, I'm running attack and defense. And the reason why I'm running attack and defense is because I'm getting a lot of CC value out of this. And what I mean by CC value is HP gives you the most CC added to your team because it's the highest stat. So it gives you that biggest boost to your team CC, which you're going to need if you're wanting to go first inside of geared PvP, or even just general, just farming, just normal PvE content. So you're going to want your CC values as high as possible while also maintaining the, I guess, the appropriate gear set and stats for that character, so that character not only just has a high CC value for the sake of having it, but also having the right gear to allow that character to do what he needs or she needs to do when in battle. So for Bond, since we know that he can steal attack, why not make his attack as high as physically possible? Well, that's why we run an attack set to get that 20%, which also helps our CC value. So it's a win-win for not only Bond, but my team CC as well. So it's very, very nice to have that. And for defense, kind of a similar situation. He steals defense as well, which will make him more tankier. So why not add on to that value as well using a 2-piece defense set for an additional 20% defense, which also gives us a nice little CC boost as well for our team. Now, I'm not saying that attack and defense is the only way you can go. You could actually run him attack and crit damage as well, or attack and life steal. There's also a build that you could run with crit chance, but I really don't recommend that one, to be honest, because I prefer to run gear that's giving me solid stats that I know is going to take off and be effective and also boost CC at the same time. So I'm getting a very overall, well-rounded build, which is giving me a little bit of everything I needed to. Because with crit chance, you're not getting any CC values from that for your team. And if your crit, for whatever reason, doesn't go off because of the enemy has either high crit resistance, or just for whatever reason you're just not at 100% crit and you're just getting a lot of bad RNG, your gear then essentially becomes useless in that regard. Now, there are some characters out there that could really benefit from crit chance, especially if they have skills that have 2 times crit chance on them. For example, like your boy Hauser, or even like Arthur on his ultimate. Those types of things, you could theoretically run crit chance. But honestly, if your base crit chance is somewhere around 30 and 40, maybe even 50%, and then you get those 2-time crit chances anyway, you really don't need crit gear. You just need more crit damage, because then you know you have a high chance of crit, and then that crit damage is going to really add some more DPS value. But in Bond's case, he actually has a pretty middle of the road crit damage on after you 6-star him. So you'll see here that I'm getting like 3.7%. So he's got a 180+% base crit damage value at 6-star awakened, which is pretty dang good, if I'm going to say so, because that's a middle of the road. It's not quite as high as some of the units, but that's still a very high multiplier for crit damage, even with this low crit chance. Since he is AOE, he does have opportunities to still get crits off, and when he does, they're going to hit super hard because of what? One reason. Because his attack stat is going to be super high, because you're going to be running attack gear, you're going to be trying to get attack substats, and you're going to be grabbing and stealing attack from your enemies in battle. So his attack stat has very high potential to get into ridiculous amounts of numbers. Like, you can easily get him to 15, 20k attack or something crazy like that, depending on, of course, what rank of skill you're using, if you use his ultimate, etc., etc. There's a lot of different various ways you can grab that attack of your enemies and just make him super crazy. And then, of course, if he gets a random crit for whatever reason, he's going to do a ton of damage. And that's why I say running attack and crit damage is not a bad thing. And then he also has, of course, that 30% lifesteal in his skill 1, so you can run him attack and lifesteal set. So if he is going to be doing a lot of damage throughout the fight, not only his skill 1 but any of his other skills, he can get a little bit of that lifesteal back, plus that lifesteal set will stack onto his S1, or his skill 1 rather. So attack and defense, solid for CC, and overall just well-rounded build for Bond. Attack and crit damage, if you're looking for that big lucky crit to go in and just annihilate your opponent, or you can run him with attack and lifesteal set if you're looking for more longevity in your character and more sustainability in the fight. So there you guys go. Those are 3 recommended builds for me, but I highly recommend that you go with attack. Now, when it comes to substats, if you're looking at my gear, a lot of you, especially if you're free to play, you're not going to be awakening your SSR gear, especially not 4 or 5 times. And you're not going to be using diamonds to try and reroll the substats. Hell, I'm not even doing that. I've done it a couple times, but I've not done it that much because it's a very expensive way to build your gear right now. But the left side does give you the most stats from the main value of the gear. What I mean by the main value of the gear, if you actually look right here, you'll see here that I'm getting attack 1027. This gear here, if it was an SSR and I leveled it all the way up to max 5-star and level in 5 enhanced, it will still never hit this number, because the right side main stats do not equate anything close to the left side main stats. However, the substats can. You can grab a lot of value from your substats. Even if it's on uncommon and common gear, you can still get the high substat percentages that you could even get on SSR. They're pretty much around the same, if not the same. It's just the main stats of the gear between, uncommon all the way up to SSR. That's a big gap. And then it's an even bigger gap when you compare the left to the right side. So take notes, write that stuff down, guys, because that's important information to know when you are building your gear. That's why a lot of people, including other YouTubers, will recommend to you go SSR on the left side, because you get those high main stats. And then on the right side, use uncommon, common, and rare gear. That way you can use gold and not diamonds to re-roll the substats and get them exactly the way you need them to be. That way you can get things like this, where I'm just getting all attack. I'm at 10.5% attack. And I'm going to awaken that one more time and try to get another, 2-3% attack. And there you go. And then my bond is going to be pretty solid. So, you're getting a little bit of everything here. You're getting the best of both worlds, if you will. I'm getting attack, I'm getting some more defense, which both those stats are bolstered even further in a fight, so it makes sense. And again, if you want to bolster your character even further with some more additional stats that will also help with your CC, you could reroll for all attack on your top right piece of gear, because the top right piece of gear can only get 4 different substats. And that's going to be attack, pierce rate, crit damage, and crit chance. While your middle pieces of gear, and this works for both sides, left and right, the middle piece can get defense, resistance, and crit defense. And then the bottom right piece of gear and the bottom gears on both sides can get HP, they can get regeneration rate, recovery rate, and lifesteal. Okay, so when you're trying to build a bond and you're looking to build the bottom right piece of gear, I would aim for lifesteal and HP. That's it. You can see here I had a bad roll and I was out of gold at that time and I didn't mean to. I might have to go back in one of these at some point and fix that. I could actually probably fix that right now, to be honest. Regeneration rate. Let's try and fix this right now. We want lifesteal and HP, guys, for the bottom right for Bond, because that's what he's most going to be using. And look at that. Boom. That was actually pretty beautiful. So we just added a little bit more lifesteal value to our Bond. Now, when he does any kind of damage, he's going to be recovering some of it to himself, keeping him more self-efficient. This is a self-efficient unit. So when you're making gear, you need to make gear that's going to keep him self-efficient and further his self-efficiency. So he's going to grab attack, going to grab a defense, and he's going to do lifesteal. So raise all three of those stats. And then you have a very good solid build for your Bond. So there you guys go. It's not hard. It's not complicated. Hopefully not. And if it is, I'm here to help you. And so are a lot of other people in our community, which you can find in the Discord below or the comment section. But yeah, guys, that's my build strat for you guys for Bond. Just to quickly, rehash what we just talked about, to recap rather. Attack is the main gear you should be running, not HP. Even though HP gives you better CC values, that's going to be better suited to other units, which we'll talk about later on. But I would run attack and defense with attack substats on the top right piece of gear. And then on the bottom right, go for lifesteal and HP. Now, these substats I recommend no matter if you're running lifesteal sets instead of defense set or even crit damage sets. I would still recommend these substats on the top right and the bottom right piece of gear. Now, if you're looking for stats on the middle, you could go defense and crit defense, or you can go defense and crit resistance, or I mean, really, honestly, the middle gear is kind of like you could really use anything because they're all good. There really is no bad middle gear substat, because resistance helps you take less damage. Crit resistance helps you take less chance of you taking a crit. Crit defense, if you do get crit, you take less damage. And then defense, of course, we already know what defense is. It just helps you take less damage in general as well. So all four of those substats technically could work for Bond. So really, I'm not too concerned with the middle substats, unless you're really looking to try and get a little bit more CC value. Then I guess you could roll for all defense, and that's fine. Because remember, guys, your CC values are only being calculated by attack, defense, and HP. All these substats here, all these ones from Pierce right down, these don't mean shit when it comes to your CC values, unfortunately. That's why I don't really recommend crit chance gear, because then you're really going to be hurting yourself for your CC values, which means you're going to have to make up that slack on perfect substat rolls or on other units gear. So I'm not a big fan of crit chance gear, particularly unless it's on very specific characters. But for Bond, attack, defense, attack, lifesteal, attack, crit damage. Those are the three builds that I would like for you guys to use. That's my recommendation for you guys to use. And again, he's going to boost his own attack and defense, so build on those as best you can, and give him as much lifesteal and HP as possible on his bottom right piece of gear, because this is also important, because he already does lifesteal on his skill 1, so why not assist on that? He wants to be self-efficient, so give him a self-efficient skill. A self-efficient substat, which is lifesteal. And it doesn't hurt to have more HP, because, more HP on any character is a good thing. So there you guys go. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions and concerns, again, let me know in the comment section below. Sorry we kind of got a long-winded gear video for you guys, but this is the first one, so I don't fully know how I want to kind of, do the format for these types of videos, but hopefully it was good enough. And we're gonna be back with some more of these videos in the coming future. I wish I could talk, some English today, Josh. Some English. You know what I'm saying? The world's going crazy. Coronavirus, I can't speak. Whatever. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, check notifications, join us in the Discord in the description below. Again, comment below if you guys need any help or have any questions. And that's gonna be it for me today. And again, we're gonna be bringing you more of these videos soon. Show some support, like the video, and I'm getting out of here. Until next time, have an awesome day as always. Peace.